Okay, so now let us see how we can work with the arrays. Let's take a scenario when we don't have the array. So what the traditional programming is, uh, we have to declare three variables and we have to take the input from the user. So name it as A, B and C. So the traditional programming says you have to accept the input of all the three variables from the user, right? So this is feasible solution. What if I have four variables or five variables and that too of same data type? Then I need to repeat this particular activity again, right? So this is also feasible when I am working with five variables. Now the other option or the problem is when I have to deal with many variables, like suppose the name of students or the marks of students in five subjects. That is feasible solution. But what if I have to calculate for all the students and that too for all the subjects? Then this will create a problem. So in this case, what we do is we create an array with the name. Let's suppose I'm naming it to be marks, and the number of subjects or the input for the variable is 10 marks. That means 10 subjects marks will be taken as the input. Now, there are two ways to initialize the array, this particular array with the name marks. Now, since these are 10 variables, 10 different variables with the same name, but these are referred with the indexes. So, I can also say it's marks 0 or marks 1. So, this is another variable. Marks 2 is another variable. Marks 3 is also another variable till your marks 9. So since we are starting with marks 0, so we would be ending with marks 9. Now how we can take the input or how we can initialize it? So for giving the values, either you can work it directly, you can give the values here itself and the marks can be initialized. Or the other way is, this is the first method. The other way is you can include the loops, and like I will declare a for loop, a simple for loop, and just to keep track of the indexes, I am using a variable I, and I is initialized with 0. And since the index starts with 0, I have to end up till 9, or I can write less than 10. So I can also write it something like less than equal to 9 or just 10. And the index iteration would be plus plus. So just increment the index by 1. So it would be I plus plus. And if you have to take the input from the user, just drop a message first that enter the marks for and print the index. So the index is I, and then ith position, let's suppose, that is ith position. So the user would be giving the marks as the input. Now in the same for loop, since we have to accept the array, the input for this particular array, so the name of the array is marks followed by the index, and the index iteration variable name is I. So I is here and we can write it like this. And in the end, I am just writing a simple message. Thank you for the input. Just a simple message. In case this is the size, that is, you are declaring the size to be 10, right? So you have to take 10 inputs. Now let us just check and execute this particular program. I forgot to enter semicolon. Okay, I'll run it again. It is asking for the marks at 0th position, that is 0th index. So I'll just write 44, and then it will ask for, I forgot to enter. Okay, so then the first variable, the first input is 10. The second is, let's suppose the marks is 20. Third one is 40. Fourth position, that is the third index, is 60. Fourth is, let's suppose it's 80. You can initialize it yourself, so it depends. So this way you can keep on taking the input. Now let us just check how you can print the values. Like suppose the second way of initializing this to be, you can give the values, the same values, in the curly braces. So just mention over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values. So 7, 8, and 9, and 10. Right. So instead of using this particular loop, what you can do is, I'll put it in comments, and this is the second way of initialization. Okay, what I can do is, I can, instead of using C in here, since I have used the direct value method, I have initialized the array myself, so the array will be printed. So marks for the some position, it will be printed over here. So the values are given, you just need to print the values. So the values are printed on the output screen. You can add new line just to see the output. So the new line is entered, and you see all these marks as initialized gets printed. So this is how you can work with the arrays.